Hello, I'm Dr. Cedar. I'm an Associate Professor of Human Biology in the School of Health and Social Care at London's South Bank University. I'm going to talk about ageing and its biology, why we age, why aren't we immortal and go on forever, what is in our biology that stops us living forever. Or as young Jane put it, "Dear God, instead of letting people die and having to make new ones, why don't you just keep the ones you got now? Why not just repair and regenerate? Why not maintain a life forever?" The biology of aging looks at the whole deal, life, death, and the whole shebang. We are mortal. We all die. There are four main things that kill us. Trauma, such as car accidents, when our bodies are pushed too far to repair. Infections from other living organisms, particularly microorganisms, organisms that are so small you can only see them with a microscope. They use us as a source of food and kill us in the meantime. 3, regeneration gone wild, where we overfix ourselves and end up with diseases such as cancer. 4, degeneration, where we don't replace the worn out parts, we age and we die. We treat diseases that occur. They may occur more frequently in older people because those people do not have the same repair ability and succumb to illnesses younger people can overcome. But aging is not the same as illness. It is not necessary that you become ill as you age. Even if healthy, you still age. So why do we age? There are lots of ideas and data about aging. Biologically speaking, we seem to age because of two things that are basic to our bodies. Firstly, we are multicellular, formed of lots of cells, about 10 trillion cells, and they come in about 206 different cell types, cells of our body called somatic cells. And secondly, we are sexually reproducing. We have specialized cells that reproduce egg and sperm called germ cells. They reproduce the rest of our body cells. Our somatic cells do not contribute in this way to the next generation. To understand aging, we need to understand early development from the egg and sperm cells, the germinating cells, onwards. We started off as one cell, the fertilized egg cell. This cell has genetic material, DNA, from each parent, which is the sexual reproduction part of our lives. But we need lots of cells to make us. So this fertilized egg cell proliferates. It does this by a process called mitosis. Each cell multiplies by copying its genetic material and then dividing the genetic material equally between each two new cells, and so on. In early development, we go through proliferation stage, where we make billions of cells. In the adult, we have 10 trillion cells, and we grew them all ourselves, each one of us, from the one fertilized egg cell that started us off in life. The cells that are formed also develop into different cell types, 206, such as skin and liver and kidney and muscle. These are the cells, the somatic cells, that carry out all the activities of the body, the activities of daily living, such as moving, breathing, eating, and communicating. They are functional, but they are mortal. Because of their being functional, carrying out all the activities of life and being mortal, they wear out and die. As I said, we started as one cell, the fertilized egg cell, and that cell is a cell that can grow and divide to form all the cells of the body. But the different types of cells of the body, the somatic cells, cannot do that. They cannot form other cells. So when the functional somatic cells wear out and die, what happens? There are cells that can form different types of cells, even in the adult, and these are called stem cells. Stem cells grow and divide like other cells. When that happens, one of the new cells progresses down the line of developing different somatic cell types. The other one replaces or remains as the original stem cell. These, therefore, are a bit like immortal cells. Stem cells come in various types. The embryonic stem cell is totipotent. It has total potency to form all the body types of cells, all 206 types, and to form the entire fetus. Pluripotent stem cells have many plural potencies and can form all the cell types, but not the entire fetus. Multipotent stem cells are also called somatic stem cells. They have many potencies, but are restricted in their potencies to particular parts of the body. For example, bone marrow stem cells are multipotent, but can only form cells of the blood. They cannot form cells of the muscles or the kidney or the liver or the entire fetus. Multipotent stem cells are what are found in the adult humans. They help replace worn-out cells by providing fresh new ones throughout our lives. There are also unipotent stem cells that provide just one type of cell. As the cell gets worn out, the stem cell makes fresh new ones. The activities of our bodies, such as moving, breathing, transport of nutrients, disposal of waste, pumping of blood, are carried out by functional somatic cells. And as I said, these are terminal. They cannot grow and replace themselves. When the functional cells of our body wear out or are damaged, they are replaced by fresh new cells. These fresh new cells are provided by stem cells. Stem cells replace those worn out cells with exactly the same amount of cells as have worn out. We are a community of cooperative cells and need to be in exactly the right amount of cells for the functions of our bodies. But eventually, we lose the ability to repair or replace worn out cells as we get older. Why? There are two main theories of aging. The first one is called damage-related aging, or wear and tear, the environmental effects of life. Living is dangerous and kills you. The second one is called program aging. It's genetic and cellular programs, including evolution of aging theories. You're meant to die. You're programmed to die. With the first theory, the wear and tear theory, there are various ways that our bodies can be damaged. Many things in the universe can harm us. This planet is merely permissive to our being here. Oxygen, for example, is a very dangerous chemical. Without it, we die. With too much of it, we can also have problems. And look what it does to fires. We are in a very fine balance of what we need and what can cause us harm if there's too little or too much. Too little sunlight and we get serious deficiencies. Too much and we can get skin cancer. The damage over time can accumulate and be too much for us to repair and replenish. We degenerate. With the theory of wear and tear comes lots of theories about how to prevent or cure wear and tear. There is a lot of money to be made here, but so far no real cure. But if the second version is true, we are programmed to age by our genes, then it is harder to overcome because it is harder to factor into us. One version of the program theory is to do with cellular senescence. In this theory, there seems to be a limit to how many times a cell can divide. It was first mentioned by Dr. Hayflick, and it's called the Hayflick number. Cells seem to be able to divide about 50 times. If so, there is a limit to repair and regeneration. Why is this? Telomeres. These are stretches at the end of our genetic material called telomeres that shorten each time our cell divides. That happens including in our stem cells. So each time they divide until the very short ones stop the cell dividing, the very short telomeres. If that is the case, the stem cell cannot divide further, and therefore it cannot produce replacement cells. We degenerate. We can reverse this, and in biology, there's always a cost and a benefit, and the benefit has to outweigh the cost for it to happen. Cells that do not shorten their telomeres are cancerous. They overgrow rather than just replacing the worn-out cells. Why would our bodies contain such a process? We like to explain everything in evolutionary terms, but this one is a bit difficult. Evolution works through a process called natural selection. Natural selection works on the phenotype, what you look like, not the genotype, what genes you have, although there is some linkage. If telomeres are a limiting step in our lives, why did we not evolve ways not to have them and also not to have cancer? If there are genes in our DNA programmed to age us, how did they come to exist? Natural selection works to select individuals who live long and prosper. If the traits that make an individual successful is in the genes, those genes survive. Aging genes do not seem to be successful, so it is a problem to explain aging genes or aging at the cellular level if it is programmed. We know there are genes that speed up aging. People with a condition called progeria demonstrate that. But, and this is beyond the discussion here, if there is a faulty gene that causes an illness such as rapid aging, the non-faulty version does not cause you to live long and prosper. Can we cure aging? Clinical interventions delay death. That is the point of clinical interventions. We can prevent many deaths from traumas. We can cure infections by many microorganisms. We can delay or stop deaths from cancers. We can treat some forms of degenerative disorders, but not treat healthy aging. Will we be able to do that in the future? If it is programmed in, we would have to alter all our stem cells, so it is very unlikely. Also, the side effect is cancer. If it is wear and tear, we may be able to delay death or delay the aging process. Why do we care? Aging tells us about the fundamentals of biology, life, repair, regeneration, stem cells, and we are interested in that. It also tells us about the fundamentals of medicine, delaying death and therefore extending life. We have an increasingly older population. The trend is that we shall have fewer children and each shall live longer. You may be quite young watching this, but I hope that you go on to reach a healthy old age. You may not realise it, but being old happens much quicker than you expect, and you spend most of your time in your life as middle to late age and very little of it as young. We all want a long and healthy life. However, as Anatole France says, the average man who does not know what to do with his life wants another one which will last forever. We have two ways of being immortal. The first one is to leave children and grandchildren that survive beyond you and have children of their own. The second one, leave a legacy. Write a song, a poem, give money to those who will use it well, or leave a great reputation behind. I wish you both forms of these forms of immortality. This MOOC is part of a course on ageing run by LSBU. If you want to know more about courses in health and social care, you can find us at lsbu.ac.uk. If you want to know more about life, death, and its biology, you can read my book.